turn the track up a little bit for me. All up in my ears. The mic is loud, but the music ain't loud. Yeah. Yeah. Now the mic is low now. Turn the mic up a little bit. My this shit's all the way up. Yeah. The music is loud. It's hot. That's what I'm talking about. I just want to wild out.
Hey, can you like zoom that out? That's a little much. I'm not really in my best at my best today, and I don't want people to be making fun of me. So yeah, let's zoom out. And then I need people to see my Biggie shirt. Welcome to the Frantastic Live Show, by the way. Thank you, Ron. Everybody, that's my producer, Ron. Give him a round of applause. People are already calling, which means so much to me. I really appreciate that. 240-719-2560. This is my very first show back, solo show, after a full year, and I was on a different, radio station, which, I had a great time doing that for a year, and, just to give a little bit of backstory on me before I get into it. We're doing it for Biggie today, and I also obviously want to talk about Biggie and Lil C's and that whole thing really quick to show my love since I'm on Saturday. I wasn't able to do that yesterday, and I was like working, and then I was like, there's a lot of Biggie stuff going on. I know that, people were posting like, oh, it's March 9th, so you got to pay your respects. So anyway, I'm MC Fran, for those who don't know, and I am from Frantastic Brand Media. I've been doing radio out here. This would be what? My 7th radio show, Ron. Like, I'm finally, at my peak, I guess. But, I've been, I don't want to say around the block, but I've been around the block. So I've had a lot of fun out here in D.C. I'm from California, so I'm not a local, but I feel like it. I just want to say thank you to everybody who has enveloped me over the course of these, 6 years I've been in this game, in this area. And, shout out just to everybody from all the other radio stations the radio stations that I've done, and finally being on a different media platform, which is, multimedia and not just radio. I appreciate all of those big names that I probably can't say, for giving me the time of day. I was a rapper in my other life, Ron. Can you tell? So anyway, it kind of led me up to doing this. So shout out to everybody. I do what I do for the love of the community. It's all about philanthropy and giving back, and what I try to do, because I've been highlighting local talent and artists for many years. And, now that they and everybody else is kind of, grown up, there's a whole new generation. And as much as I love my peers and family in this, everybody from the KYS to the PGC to Will Rap for Food to Santa Claus to, all of the spider web of family that I have out here, there's a whole nother generation, which makes me feel old as fuck. And everybody else around me feel old, but you have to embrace it. You have to envelop it. And I feel like my mom, Ron, like, you know how you guys, if you have children and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, your kids look up to them and just be like, oh my God, you're old school. Like, Ron has his own blues show. And so if I was to, throw out B.B. King or something, as a parent or whatever, and your kids now would just be like, who? Like, that would really piss me off. Do you know what I mean? So if I talk about somebody, in the industry like Biggie, and they say something disrespectful, it's like, it's personal to you. Do you know what I mean? This generation. And saying that, everything comes full circle. The music always comes back around, and the style does change, but, the classics will always be there. But I knew I was getting older when the kids didn't really know a Biggie verse. And the little Pump, Peep, Pope, whichever one he is, one of those new wave rappers with the tattoos on his face and the long hair, and they're all the same to me. But he said that Tupac was boring. And I almost jumped out of my skin because, the music that you make is allegedly trash. And, I wouldn't even, on my worst day, I would, probably, the thumbs down on Pandora every time I saw any of his songs pop up. But anyway, you didn't hear that from me. So it's with that saying, it's a whole new generation that I want to highlight and bring to the masses. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for reaching out and supporting me on this new venture. I really quickly want to talk about the showcase that we have coming up. And I'm kind of like, it's brought to you by, Vox Power, and also, Star Imports and Frantastic Brand Media, and then other sponsors. We're going to bring in you guys to come in and sit down with me, guest host with me. I did this show today by myself because for the past few months I've been doing a show with a lot of guests, and I just want right now for you to get to know me on a personal level. But we have a showcase coming up, DMV or Nothing, and it's going to be on the fourth Sunday of every month, and I want to showcase local artists. It's what I do. come sit down with me, guest host, sit in my chair. Let's get personal. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about you, your business, your production, your clothing line, your anything that you, obviously don't come in here and like promote something, ridiculous. But, if you want to get your craft and your talent off the ground, utilize my platform to do it. The registration forms I'll be sending out to everybody who's emailed me. So don't think that I talk a lot with my hands where I'm like, don't think that I am ignoring you. I just have like 100 of you that hopped on and said that you would like to be part of it. And I have to go through each one by one because this is all personal to me. And I was going to hand it off to the person that works for me. But I'm a perfectionist when it comes to this, and that's kind of how I've been so successful. So I'm not taking away from her, but I need my hands in this pot completely, fully, so it's perfect, and then maybe I'll get my team together to help me later. Come in on the 4th Sunday after you've done your interview. Everybody has to interview first, and the registration fee is only $25, and then to perform is only $50 because we have bills to pay. But it's not like you have to sell any tickets. You don't have to go to any random club location. You get to come here on a media platform in a state-of-the-art sound stage, have your music played, and then be able to perform where it's going to go on a website, on the YouTube, on the app, onto my website. Like, you're going to get way more exposure. Not to say that we're not going to do venue location events, because definitely we are going to, and I want to talk to my boss, my two bosses, and let them, to kind of throw out there some ideas. And I would love to do a big community together day, and us to be in there and you guys to perform for that. But right now we're going to just keep it here and splash you all over YouTube and all over whatever, social platform that we can do to highlight and help you. So, I tried to keep all of the administrative and registration fee things really, really low, so anybody can afford it. Everybody can afford $25 to invest in yourself, so that way you secure your spot. So we'll get into more of that a little bit later. Let's get to talking. Do we still have a caller on hold, Ron? Okay, so call me back. Sorry, 240-719-2560. We tried, but we have to come on at a certain time. So anyway, let's talk. First of all, I want to shout out Lil C's. I obviously am, you guys, do I look skinny? This is the chair, by the way. This is not my fat ass. Okay, just so everybody knows. Sorry, Ron, that was probably uncomfortable for you. But I just want to make sure everybody knows that that's not, I wish my ass was that. Anyway, so I want to shout out Lil C's. Obviously, everybody thinks back to where were you when Biggie was shot. And it brings me back to high school and the best days of music, and it brings me back to, whoa! Now you got to talk. Thank you for calling the Frantastic Live Show. Who this?
Fran, what's going on?
What's up? Who's this?
This is ADST. Good.
Hey, boo. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm calling to congratulate you on your new venture.
Thank you so much. That makes me emotional that you would call me and support me. And your time is coming. Like I told you, you are my first priority when it comes to this showcase, because I want you to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just laughing.
Okay. I don't want to cut, because I can talk, so I don't want to cut you off. You know that already. So, you're my first priority when it comes down to the showcase, because you are a fire producer, and I want people to definitely be able to see all of the artists that you have to bring to the table, because again, new generation, even old school, intermixing when it comes to you. So first of all, I want quickly you to tell everybody who you are and maybe some of the artists that you would like to come and bring on.
Most definitely ADST, ADST music, however you want to say. I'm a producer in the DMV. I just released the album Definition of Doubt. I have
congratulations.
Thank you. I have Kenilworth Katrina.
Hey.
Yeah, Black Indian. My man Eddie Black from Question Mark Asylum. I have my man Vasi, and a few other people on there. Uptown Shane. It's a lot. It's about like 10, 11 people on the album, but it's a nice mixture.
Well, shout out to Uptown Shane, who I'm sure is watching, and shout out to all of the queens, for those who don't know and those who recognize me. Obviously, I was a part and will always be in my heart of the Resurrecting Queens, who you never know might find them in these chairs. But we're going to keep that, on the low. But babe, thank you so much. I want everybody to get to know you better. I will email you if I didn't already and get you the registration form. And thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll talk. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to call and look. I got a show tonight. I'm about to get ready to go to.
Bet, where's that at?
Fairfax, Virginia. I don't even know the name of the place.
Yeah, because nobody goes to Fairfax for anything unless you're trying to get in trouble. But okay, I digress.
Yeah. No, I'm actually really spinning for somebody. I'm DJing for somebody. It's a favor, so it's not where I typically go. But hey, it is what it is.
That's dope. And for everybody who knows me, I'm a turntable fetisher, and one day I'm going to buy some tables, and I'm reaching out to every single one of you to teach me. And I just want to have sparkly stuff and be able to just look cool. But no, I'm just kidding. But I love anything that's turntablism, and I want you to have a great time and do what you love. And thank you so much for calling, and we will connect very, very soon to get you in these chairs.
No doubt.
All right, baby.
Congratulations again, all right?
Thank you so much. Have a safe evening.
All right, later.
Bye. Isn't that sweet? Thank you so much, y'all. Like, I really, don't tell anybody I got choked up. I'm a gangster but, it feels really good to be able to feel loved and supported. And, to run the risk of sounding, a little, I don't want to say anything against anybody, but it's just like, it's so sad when you have like newer people around you in your life who really show love and appreciation like right off the bat, and you have people that have known you for a long time who don't, who just kind of, sit around and brood in the corner instead of congratulating. And that's so wild, because I would always congratulate you. 240-719-2560. Call me. It's just been a wild and crazy ride along this, platform, but there's nothing else I would rather do. Doing radio has changed my life and the whole course of my life completely, and I managed to get here with my legs closed. I managed to get here, never riding the back or coattails of any band, person, anything like that. And it all comes to the core of just giving back to the community, because the community will support you if you do that. And by the way, here at Star Imports, Coat Drive. When's the next Coat Drive?
The next Coat Drive.
What is this? So it is on here?
No, that's not a Coat Drive.
Oh, I know it's not a Coat Drive, but I'm just saying, when is the next one? Because I know that Reggie was talking about it.
That'll be next year.
Whole next year?
Yeah, because winter almost over.
That's true, too. But anyway, so there's a lot. But in support of the community, Voxway will be collecting toiletries like toothpaste, soap, lotion, wipes, socks, tampons for women, shampoo, combs, etc. Please drop off these donations right here. And this is 4711 Off Place at Suitland, Maryland. We can give coats and coats and clothes, but the toiletries that people really need that are out there, let's try to focus on that. And that's usually now what I do when I was ever, a part of the now taking a break, wrap for food, is to just bring the boxes of toothbrushes and stuff like that, because they're really cheap. They don't cost a lot of money. And Dollar General. And I mean, I've been there. I, wanted to, because people are like, why do you always, do for everybody else before yourself? Which I'm learning not to do in every mode of my life. But because those of us who are philanthropists or humanitarians have been there. I've been homeless with my little dog. You know what I mean? And it's rough. It's not easy, but and some people can't just pull themselves out of it. My mother's a veteran, and I think about a lot of them who are on, the streets and who can't get help, because at the VA they treat, veterans like animals, and they really don't offer any help, and there's a lot of suicide and stuff like that. But it doesn't have to be if we can get them the right help. And it really just starts right here with the core values and things that they truly need. So make sure you please stop by and give what you can. So anyway, let's talk about a little bit about some of the things that have been going on in the media industry. There's a lot of hubbub going on with a radio station here, and I won't say the name of it, but there was, because I can really identify and relate to this, and we're going to take a little break, but I want to tell this really quickly. There was a radio host, and she has two co-hosts that are male, okay, and this was on National Women's Day, and obviously I know what it's like to be in the middle of two men on the radio, and it's not easy all the time, because when you're around guys, and I grew up with all the boys and everything like that, once you start being like emotional or showing your weaknesses and whatever, and they're not like your person, it opens you up, you know, to sometimes personal attacks. I've been in this industry quite a minute. I've had a lot of male co-hosts, and they've all been really great guys, you know, in their own right. But I, you know what she went through. So she comes in, and she had put out an ad on Instagram about needing a nanny for her 3 children. And a person also in the DMV area who was a model/actress or whatever answered her and said that she could be her nanny. You know, can you give me a shot, whatever. And the radio host said, I'm not going to bring an Instagram model into my house and flaunt her around my husband because I have insecurities. My father slept with the nanny and had my sister 3 months apart from me. And he also left with her, and I had a husband that cheated on me or whatever. All this is allegedly. I don't want to put words in her mouth that I don't get right. And so she said that, and she talked about it on the air. And that's very, testy. You got to be careful what you say, you know, because people obviously are going to lash back if it gets personal. But she talked about it on the air, and apparently the nanny wrote a letter, an email, and said, I'm the nanny, can I come in and talk about this? I feel like I'm being discriminated against because I'm a bad bitch. And so she did, and these 2 male co-hosts on a nationally syndicated radio station brought the nanny in without telling the female in the middle that she was coming on. And when she finally did on National Women's Day walk in and see this woman, and they start talking or whatever, and this woman starts saying, you're insecure, you wouldn't let me work for you, and you're afraid I'm going to leave with your husband, and all this different stuff, where this host has the right to control who comes into her house and take care of her children. But also, you know, I'm not insecure. I mean, we all have insecurities, but I'm not insecure, and I'm also not like a relationship person or whatever. But I'm not going to bring a woman, a young woman into my house. I'm just not going to do that to like live with me and my husband and kids. And at the same token, do you really want somebody who claims to be, you know, this model/actress, but who kind of has provocative pictures and stuff, you know, as a role model to your daughters? Probably not, you know, but I don't have kids either. So I'm just, you know, I'm still maternal a little bit. But, you know, so they brought her in, and they just started going in on her, telling her, you know, the girl started saying all these things, and this radio host starts to get really upset on live radio from 6 to 10 in the morning, one of the 2 top stations in DC, and she just starts going off. She can't curse, but you could just tell how upset, and you could tell the hurt in her voice because she was set up. You know, and I hate to say that because I also know one of the men, you know, one of the DJs, and he's always been really nice and respectful, you know, to me. And the other guy, I really don't know him. So I don't want to like create any issues between him and I, but this is the way that it came off to us as an audience. And so the guys were antagonizing her, saying she was big mad and, you know, you're insecure and blah, 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 as opposed to having her back as this person was attacking her. And she walked out live on the air, quit her job, and they just kept going, just kept talking about it and laughing. And you know, after that, she went on live and told her side of the story and things like that, how she was set up and she couldn't believe it. This was her family. These 2 guys always had her back. She couldn't believe whatever. And Ron and Julie just like jolted me into all the experiences that I've had in this radio industry. Because, you know, I hit her up and I told her she can always come down and sit, do damage control style, but, you know, kind of like talk about it, because after a while she's on contract, so she can't just walk out. She still has to work with these 2 people who really, you know, gave their apologies, but the public are calling for their termination. Like, the public did not receive this joke. and you got to be careful what you put on the radio, especially when you get a 6 to 10 time slot, money time slot on a powerful station. Well, the only one besides Voxwave. But still, like, it's wild that they would even think that that was okay. But anyway, the reason why I'm saying this, because, obviously I wasn't here online on the air for National Women's Day, but I just want to tell her that, I know what you have been through, and maybe not what you're going through, because the Shade Room and Gossip and TMZ and all of these other, media platforms picked up the story. And not only did this just happen here as kind of like an embarrassing thing, because these are all people that I kind of know. I don't really know that radio show well, because I listen to Joe Claire, because he's my personal friend, and they're younger, so it's a different age, but it's like, I lost my train of thought on that. But, I just want to tell her that I know what you're going through. I've been there. And these gentlemen who may call you family, family doesn't do that to another person. And now I was saying, not only did it embarrass us as a community, once it got out there, she became, kind of a meme, like, it went viral. So, and when they started off the story, they don't just say, this station, they say, for anybody who's living in the DMV area, this is what, blah, blah. And it's like so embarrassing for our local community as a whole and as a media family to do that to someone. Because I've been in this position where I've had a co-host who, would hear me say that I like someone, and so they would bring that person in, or I would say that I didn't like someone, and they would bring that person in because they want to create that, sometimes they want to create that little bit of drama to feed ego. I don't know. I've also had, male co-hosts, kind of say things that were inappropriate or mean, and I'm not the most appropriate girl. Like, you guys know me very well, and earlier in my career I used to just say whatever, which I'll pay for later, but you have to mature and you have to grow when you're in this industry, and you have to be mindful of the people that you sit next to. Working in radio is kind of like, or not even just radio, because television or the multimedia community is kind of like when you're in the service industry and you all pool together. You have to trust that those people around you are not going to steal your money from your book or your table or from the pool or whatever. Like, especially when you're a bartender, there's a certain level of trust you have to have. And so when it comes to this business and you can't trust the people that you sit next to or one of the people or whatever, that's a hard pill to swallow, because you really want people to love you back as family. It's not always like that. And I know that she, went to work the next day, and Angie and all these people, it was a female-driven show, and those two guys got suspended for what they did. And she got sent flowers, and, she probably feels better today than she did, a day or two ago. I know she's completely justified in what she did and how she reacted. But let it be a lesson to, to women out there who want to be, in any, kind of male-driven type of things, you gotta kind of hold it together, because it might be something, an ego or something like that is out of place, for a guy, and maybe he doesn't feel, adequate around you or whatever it is, but we are powerful beings as women, and, we're going to continue to do what we, want to do, and we're going to continue to elevate and be successful, and if that makes men uncomfortable, get over it. So anyway, I want to take a quick break. Going to play a little music. Send me your music, man, because, I just wanted to do this show. It was really, quick, but I could do it with my eyes closed. I've been doing this for a long time, so I just wanted to be raw and real. But I want to play your music throughout the show. So email me at frantasticbrandmedia@gmail.com. Send me your music that I can play. And remember, if you want to have your music played on every show, there's ad space for that. So you can have your song, your album, your music, your picture, whatever you'd like, and have it on my show. And thank you for everybody who's already sent me things and stuff like that. So I'm putting them together and getting a whole groove. And then once I do, you know, you will see yourself on, you know, one of the biggest platforms you've ever seen yourself. So anyway, it's a Frantastic live show. We'll be right back. Ready, ready, ready. I was born ready. Welcome back to the Frantastic Live Show. I mean, I was just like actually getting good in here. The music that I chose is beautiful. Just saying, shout out to Wale and obviously Brent and, you know, everybody, Glizzy. I definitely wanted to pay my respect and homage to DJ Money. Whenever you hear the DJ Money drop, you know that it's time for the Frantastic Live Show. Thank you so much for doing that for me, babe. I really, really appreciate it. I want to say really quickly, send a shout out to the Ryan Show that is every Monday, which features Ryan, Hampton's Dave, Lorena, and my personal favorite, Mr. Cheeks, Lost Boys, Familia. That's every single Monday at 8 p.m. The Ryan Show goes live on theryanshow.net, but also at the Tavern in Jamaica, Queens, which I will be making a pit stop to soon to show love to the Lost Boys family because they've always shown love to me. And I'm so grateful for that, and I can't wait to go back on the road and have a lot of fun and record and do everything that we love to do. So thank you so much. I'll probably continue to shout out people a lot because I finally can. And I can finally utilize my entire little platform to express, you know, my gratitude, but also all the things that are, you know, local goings on in the DMV, and everything local, support local. So I really wanted to talk about a certain situation that happened to me, because I also want to field your calls, your letters, your, you know, things like that when you have need advice on things, relationship issues, you know, things like that. I'm a little bit older than what people think, so I probably maybe have been through that. Unless you've been in like this long-term relationship for many, many, many years and you've never had any drama and whatever, then I can't tell you anything about that because I'm not a long-term type of girl. Well, not yet. I guess maybe you find the right person for you and then everything changes. Is that what's... I say that and I joke a lot, but I've been single for many, many, many years because I've just, you know, been riding this wave to success, and, you know, it's been really fun, but you can't really have like this person attached to you when you do that. So I've been out of the game a long time, but I always tell people, like, because they kind of christen me the Oprah of DC, which is amazing and beautiful. And even though Oprah may have her Stedman, it's great to be successful, and I managed to live all of my dreams. I've been a ballroom dancer. I've dropped my own mixtapes. You know, I've hosted Howard. I've hosted the Fillmore. I've been on KYSPGC. You know, I've worked for Dionne Warwick. You know, I've done it all. You know, but when you go home and you don't really have anybody to be like, well, guess what I did today? That's the part that kind of like sucks. You know what I mean? But I just want people to, I'm 35, and I'm not like afraid to say that I'm 35 because this is finally when I found out, you know, okay, this is who you are, this is who you're going to be, love it, and I do. I've had an amazing almost 20 crazy years of doing whatever I wanted to. But, you know, like I said, it's great to be the Oprah and everything, but you want to have like children and things like that because that's what we're here to do, kind of like, you know, procreate and create, you know, good civilized human beings, and I never have done that. So, and I also have dated a lot of assholes, and they're either like, because I put myself in that predicament because I was like a DJ girl for a while, like I loved DJs. I was like with the rappers, with the gangsters, with the, you know, all these different things, and you obviously can't really expect, you know, that to go over very well. So, you know, you kind of, as a woman, date the same person over and over again, whether it be like, you know, a healthy relationship, an unhealthy thing, or they carry the same characteristics. It's just like what people do. If it's not working out, usually you're dating the same person over and over again. So I haven't really like dated for a long time, but even when I did, you know, I never really had somebody, you know, I may be a little bit hardcore or whatever, but every woman still, and myself, likes romance deep down. I'm such a red roses, profess your love for me, you know, surprise me with things, you know, type of girl. But I was raised by two Marines, especially my mother, and when my parents did not marry each other because that wasn't going to work, but my mother, as an independent, hardcore Aries woman, made me independent and hardcore, and it also made me kind of feel like where men are so clingy, like I just run away. Like I don't want you to be really clingy like that, but I do want you to be like, show me super interest. So I was at work, and I randomly met this person at work, and I'm sure he's probably watching. And he was really super nice to me immediately. You can just tell when somebody looks at you differently as opposed to me being looked at like, underneath this shirt, I may have A cup breasts or so. And I'm sensitive about my A cups. But the point is I wasn't looked at like a piece of meat or talked to like one, which is unfortunately what I'm used to. And I could just tell that he saw something else in me, and I was at my rawest form, because when I'm at work, I try to just look as plain Jane, raw as possible, so men and some women will just kind of like keep their distance, because I just want to go to work and not, be hit on just one time. And so, and that sounds really pretentious, and it goes back to like, pretty girl privilege or whatever. I'm not saying that. That's what the co-host who had the issues with the radio host that had the 2 issues with the co-host said she had pretty girl privilege, and so did that nanny. Well, I don't ever want to say that. That's not something I would ever say. That's a term I don't like. But it's, when he came in, he treated me with the most respect and romanticism and kindness, that I'd ever been treated, and it caught me off guard. It really did. Like, I really thought that it was, hi. I really thought that it was just, the best, sweetest thing. And so, obviously we exchanged numbers and we got to know each other a little bit. And everything was good. And I thought that's what I wanted. I wanted to be treated in that way. Somebody that called me a lot, that was planning our future, that was talking to their parents about me, that was, asking me to run away with them and all these different things, which would have been okay if we knew each other longer than a week or 2. I've been out of the game a little bit. But I don't think that it's normal or healthy to, maybe people do have love at first sight, but that person should not become your everything in such a small span of time. Like, to go to church, which I go on Sundays, try to go every Sunday, and shout out to the Life Church Richmond, to go to church and have to put your phone on like block because this person kept calling, and your Facebook message that you knew for maybe 2 weeks, if that, block them, and then once you unblock, they call you and say, well, I've called you 7 times. Why didn't you answer my phone call? And not only was it the 7 times on the phone, but the Facebook Messenger was like 3 times, and then 4 text messages. And I'm thinking that, and for that person to say to you, well, what did the pastor say? Did you record it? Like, type of thing, so I would be able to prove that I went to church. Red flags go up. I feel like I just, was like really thrown off by that. And after going through the motions of feeling so happy that somebody actually looked at me in a certain way, and when they finally, once they found out who I'm unassuming at work and people don't really know who I am or whatever, but once they did find out, they just kind of turned into kind of a stan, like an obsessed fan. And I have never been through that before, and it sounds pretentious, but it was true. And I just want to know, and call me if I'm wrong or right, 240-719-2560. Do you think that was weird? How long do you feel like you should give someone before you start in on the calling and the planning the future and, let's have kids, get married, all this type of stuff? Will you run away with me and all this, whatever? Because women don't like that. And if you do like that, she's probably really needing something else, maybe chasing something that's not healthy. It really made me think about it, and maybe what was I giving off to make this person think that it was, that I was open to all these different things, because I also felt bad. Obviously, I cut that person off. Obviously, I didn't go into a relationship with that person because that's just too much too soon. And when I talked to you, I tried to obviously communicate that before I just cut this person off. But when you communicate that issue and that person says, okay, anyway, upon thinking about what you said, I just think you need some time, and then we can run away with each other, and we can go get married at a chapel, and then we can, like, not even ingesting what I was trying to say. And I'm just thinking, is that, this person is my age also with no kids. And people probably look at me like I'm weird at 35 and I haven't any kids. What's wrong with me? But I also kind of think, it throws me into thinking, somebody who's a grown man, who's my age and doesn't have any kids, who's never been married, and kind of has a spotted kind of past, like, you have to think, well, he's either the perfect man, knight in shining armor, or there may be something wrong there. And I want to make sure that I didn't just jump into anything without thinking clearly, but I also didn't want to make him feel, bad about himself for putting himself out there. But I'm just wondering, like, is this maybe I've been out of the game for so long, but how much is too much? Like, kind of just calling someone and saying hello every day. And I learned that when you're, like, in a relationship, you have to talk every single day. And when you get married, it's every single day and whatever. And I'm getting there. But how much is too much? Give a girl some space. Give her room to breathe. Don't be talking the talk but not walking the walk. And you can make all these promises and dreams and put all forth this type of stuff. But if we haven't even gone out on a date, that's a little weird. I'm not saying don't wine and dine a person or a girl. I'm not saying don't, put yourself out there to make her feel like a queen, because I'll make you feel like a king. But you can't force your love on someone. You can't. And it says everything about him and not so much about me. He's kind of looking for something that I can't give him. And I don't want to waste his time. And I think let this be a lesson to all of us when we're going into something like new. You have to make sure that you don't just jump into anything because you're 35 with no kids. There's still time for me. Maybe somebody will have me, We'll see. You think so? I just wanted to always do it in a certain succession. And I was always, one to say, I could have been one night away from being a single mother. I've been engaged before at 18. I've done the abusive relationship thing, and I've been a part of a lot of different, crazy, wild things. But I've also only had like 2 relationships in my life. And that's so long ago, because I stay true to my, not demands or anything, but like prerequisites before I want to get into a relationship. And as I've gotten older, there are certain qualifications that I know that a man is seeking for, that I would have to fit, and that a man would have to fit for what I'm seeking. But if I manage to make it this far in my life and in my career, and don't drink this trash, by the way. Usually I have, water. But I don't never have this. I never drink this. But I needed to be like, pumped for my show, and I was a little nervous. But don't feel like because, you're at a certain age that you have to settle. That always happens. But anyway, it's been a hard road dating. I have a lot to learn. I'm reading a few books. Maybe I'll watch an instructional video on it. But a guide to dating, getting married, and to having kids. But, hey, I'm single. So if you still want to date me after that horrific story of me shutting somebody down who was in love with me, then, call me. 240-719-2560. I'll be here every Saturday from 7:45 to 8:45. We only have a few minutes left. But, again, this is not how every show was going to run. But I really, as I've done with all of my other shows, which we're still technically, I was filming and stuff, but, I just come in and kind of give my take on things or whatever, but also, do my promotions, do my highlights or whatever. I wanted this show to be up close and personal. If you have any questions about me or questions to ask about anything, you can always hit me up my DMs are open where it goes down. I just wanted it to be a get to know me kind of session, because we have so much coming up. And the original show that I did here at Power, 37.3, I did a lot of guests, a lot. And they were amazing people. I met some awesome people like Brandon Moon and Charnice Nicole and, Mikey Flatout. And, of course, my personal favorite, Mike D'Angelo. Don't tell anybody that I just blushed a little bit. Stop, you guys. Anyway, moving forward, I'm grateful for having, met and seen and be able to interview so many people I haven't had the chance to do before. But I just want to kind of like to do something very low key today. So coming up, we have, the showcase coming up again that I want to talk about really quickly before we get out of here. I only have an hour show, but the showcase, I get to have even more time. I'm going to pick maybe 10 artists out of all the people that sign up for this, and you were going to show up, show out, do your thing, but everybody has to sit in this chair first. So $25 per artist, per interview, and then just $50 to perform. And you're going to come in, we're going to mix, we're going to mingle, we're going to have a good time, and then you're also going to be on my roster for, other events and things that come up. But it's our time. Shout out to Paperboy the Prince, it's our time. Shout out to the Resurrecting Queens for still loving me, and I still love you. So it's going to be another crazy experience because I'm going to have a bunch of people coming through here, but it's a different day and age. I used to just kind of randomly have you guys come in and sit down and all this kind of stuff, but there's now has to be segmented, regimented business taken care of, get the paperwork out of the way before we can, actually get into this, because this is huge. It's a lot bigger scale than I've ever been on. With that said, thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all the calls, the love, the texts, everything. My mom for wishing me a really good show. It's just the beginning, everybody. Frantastic Brand Media has so much more to offer. Make sure you check out our YouTube page and also the website. We're definitely, obviously, going to upload this to the YouTube page where you yourself could be on. Sit with me, ask me anything, talk about whatever. Stay tuned. Let me know if you'd like to be a part of it. Frantastic Brand Media is the email, and I'll pencil you in there. Thanks, everybody. It's a Frantastic Live show from 7:45 to 8:45 p.m. every Saturday right here. Make sure you log in to this and come in and talk to me about your lightning that you had in your week or your beautiful sunny skies. Let me know. It's endless. I love you guys. Bye.